Hey there, YouTube world. It's Coach. I'm gonna try to move this thing around. Obviously, I'm in the mobile office one more time. Always in the mobile office, it seems. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to kind of add on to what we were talking about the other day about that game plan. And the title of this is Your Attitude Sucks. And kind of why I say your attitude sucks is simply this. Okay, so you've gone out and now you've put together this, this life-changing game plan, this game plan of for your life or for your son or your daughter or whoever, and now it's time for you to, it's basically time for you to kind of to do it. And so what's gonna make the difference? What's the difference maker? They say attitude is a difference maker. Right? So your attitude sucks, man. Like attitude is a difference maker in anything. Like if you take two people, you give them the same game plan, that they both have goals and desires and dreams and whatever else. They both have the same skills, they both have the same education. Everything is pretty much, I mean, if you take athletics, for example, athletics is the coolest example, because if you look at athletics, a lot of guys will say, well, this particular person here was better than this person, like skill wise, speed, strength, everything else. But for some reason we heard about this particular, you hear people say all the time, oh, this guy here, he's better than Jordan, right? You just hear it all the time, right? This guy here was better than Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, so what was the difference? Like, how come we heard of Jordan and we never heard of this other guy? Well, simple. It's attitude, right? Your attitude's your attitude is everything, right? And so what makes a person more successful than someone else is their attitude and your ability to maintain that attitude day in and day out, day in and day out. So if I was speaking with your son or your daughter, or if you're listening right now and you are a son and a daughter, man, your attitude is everything. Your attitude is everything. And I was listening to an audio the other day. Actually, it was an audiobook. Oh, geez. Why do I draw a blank right now? It will pop right back into me. Magic of Thinking Big. And so so this audiobook, and it was kind of talking about your attitude. Your attitude is everything. And so how do you shape your attitude? All right, so now you've gone out there, you made this big game plan. You've told the world what you want to do. You worked it backwards, which you should have by now. If you haven't, stop this video, go sit down and plan that out, with your son, your daughter, or even just for yourself, by yourself, for your son and your daughter. As an athlete, sit down, man. Like, what do I want? Okay, here's where it's gonna be, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever the deal. I'm working that backwards. And now it's all about attitude, because to be honest with you, if you haven't they say that when you make a plan to do something, if you don't act on it within 48 hours, that plan, it will go away. Like your confidence will be so distraught that within 48 hours you probably will not act on it. So your attitude is everything. Your attitude, your belief in yourself and in the things that you set out is everything. It is absolutely everything. But here's the kicker. Well, how do you maintain that? Because once you've told everybody what you're going to do, most people are going to tell you that's not going to happen. They're going to find a way to, kind of put you down about that. You're going to find a way. Forget other people. You're going to find a way to put yourself down about it. So if you set out and you said, look, I want to win the national championships, right? Or I want to be a recruit, or so I want to get a scholarship to this particular college, university, or I want my son or my daughter to be a doctor or lawyer, or even the president. Donald Trump did it, but he's a winner, I guess, right? These guys been winning for a long time. But yeah, like, you yourself, you are the one who's going to kill it, and it's going to be based on your attitude. And it would be nice that if we got up every day and everything was all perfect, and and it was roses and birds were singing, but that's not the case, right? By the time you get up in that day, you've probably already told yourself so many negative things that, you're just climbing a mountain just to get to zero. So your attitude is everything. And so let's touch on some quick points about your attitude. Number one, talk positive. Talk positive, right? They say what comes out of your mouth basically creates a picture that goes into your mind, and that picture gets played over and over and over again. So if you say to yourself, well, you know what, I'm good, but this and that. I'm not as strong. No. Talk positive. Find a way to talk positive. Next thing, associate with positive people. If you are trying to be if you're trying to succeed, and you have a whole bunch of negative people around you, that's just creating more and more and more duress around you, right? Make a list of all the people you spend most of the time with, and you know what? If you got a 10-year plan, you need all your mindset. You need to be positive, right? I mean, we gotta be realistic. You're gonna have down times, of course. You're gonna have your poo-poo parties and the whole entire bit. Have your poo-poo parties, your tear parties, whatever it is. Have them. It's okay to have them, but give yourself a time limit. Say, okay, for one day, I'm gonna poo-poo party, blah blah, eat chocolates and cry and whole entire poor me type thing. One day, after 24 hours, it's done. Right? So, figure out who you're around with, right? Association is also too your Facebook, your emails, the TV shows that you're watching, right? The music that you're listening to. Those are huge association. What you're reading. So if you get up every day and you read about the robberies and the killings and this and that and that and this and that, right? So guess what? By the time you hit midday, guess what? You've already put a whole bunch of garbage in your brain. That's garbage in, garbage out, right? So your music, same thing. Like, check your music. Not everything that sounds good is gonna feed you. It's gonna feed you well, man. Right? The food that you're putting into your body, right? I love donuts. I love donuts to death, but it's not gonna. It doesn't help me. It just makes me feel good for a second, and I feel guilty after, right? So you gotta check what you're eating, right? Those are a part of your plan. So talk positive, associate with positive. Right? Think about what you're putting into your mind and your body. Like, read positive stuff. Listen. Right? Music, man, it's a killer. Yes, it might sound good. Yes, it might pump you up. But it's subliminally giving you negative, man. You gotta think about that particular part. Right? Parents, you have to check that too. Right? Because remember, if your son or your daughter is sitting in the room and you're listening to negative stuff, like the news and all this other stuff, they're soaking it up. So if you're making a long-term plan for your son or your daughter, you have to check yourself. Say, okay, what am I listening to? Who am I around? That's huge. Who am I around? And you're like, oh, you know what? I'm 40 years old, blah blah. I never had these friends for a long time. Well, you know what? Limit it. If you guys hang out all the time, 4 days a week, limit. Say, okay, you know what? I can only give you, 8 hours this week. 8 hours a week. That's it, maximum. You choose how we're gonna spend it, but no more than that, right? You have to control all the stuff around you, not just a little bit of it. All of it. You gotta micromanage your life, right? So think about that. Right? Your attitude is everything. Make time for yourself. Right? Take some time for yourself, man. Go for a walk. Right? Like, you gotta remember, all those things are very, very important. Right? So your attitude is everything. Right? So make sure, get up in the day, tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what, Garfield, I love you. I love your brown skin, your eyebrows. They look incredible, man. I love you so much. Thank you for being you. Like, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that. Right? Beginning of the day, tell yourself that. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a high five. Give yourself a pat on the back all the time. Those things are extremely important. Yeah, they might sound cheesy, but you're trying to accomplish something. You got one shot at this life, one shot at it. The attitude is everything, man. Attitude, protect it with your life. Every day, you don't speak negative. If you're feeling sick, feel sick on your own. I figure, I'm my body's invaded and I'm at war and I'm winning this war, so I need to crank up the temperature so that I can kill the invaders. Right? You got to think about how you're thinking about stuff. Right? If you're around people all the time, I'm sick. Well, yeah, limit your time around them. Right? So I'm just keeping it real, just like I'm standing on a wrestling mat and I'm talking to you. I'm trying to keep it very, very real with you, right? So as a parent, think about those things. Think about the things that because remember, if your attitude sucks, your kids are gonna pick that up and they're gonna have sucky attitude, right? If you're an athlete, you're a student, whatever they are, and your attitude is no good, well, guess what? That's an output that you're gonna get too. Right? So think about your attitude on a day to ask yourself, how's my attitude? right? Is everybody that sees me, am I smiling all the time? Simple thing is smiling, man. Smile, I love me, right? So like you just you have to think about those particular things. Your attitude is everything. It's a difference maker.